Hey, it's Annette. I am super excited to bring you the Wealth Lab, building your implementable profit plan workshop series here for Annette Ferguson YouTube channel. My sole purpose of starting this series is to help you implement the profit plan, price your offerings, and manage your finances properly. If you feel like this series is not for you, feel free to just skip ahead on this episode. For the full experience, however, of the workshop, do make sure that you join the group where I will be hosting it. Go to Facebook and search Uncover Wealth Community. Make sure you answer the questions and come on in. Talk soon. Hello, here I am. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wealth Lab, building your implementable profit plan. Today is session 4. I am very excited to move things forward with you and share session 4 with you. Now, do give me a hello in the comments if you are tuning in. Let me know that you are here. I would love to say hello back to you. I can see a few people are on already. Eloisa, Justina, Terrence. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who is joining and saying hello. And I'm also going to pull up comments just a sec on my phone because I'm not seeing them wonderfully well on my machine. There we go. Excellent. So if you have not already got the workbook, do make sure that you mention it in the comments so that my team can connect with you and get you a copy of the workbook. The workbook really is your companion for these sessions. So do make sure that you have a copy of that. Just let us know if you don't in the comments and one of my team will take care of that and get you a copy over. Good morning, not morning. It's not morning. Good afternoon, Justine. Good afternoon, Melissa. Good afternoon, Ronald. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me for today's session. So like I say, if you don't have the workbook, let us know in the comments. One of my team will pick that up and get that sent straight out to you. So session 4 of the profit plan. And this is, remember, the first pillar to skyrocketing your profits in your business. We have session 5 again, same time, same place tomorrow. And of course, yesterday I announced those additional bonus sessions that are happening Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the rest of this week and into early next week as well. Here to help and support you even further in your profit planning. Remember, profit planning is the catalyst for that lifestyle and entrepreneurial freedom, for that financial freedom that we want. And many of you in session 1 said yes to skyrocketing your profit. And this is the start of that plan as well. It's the start to skyrocketing. So share with me what your top tip from the session yesterday, from session 3. What is your top takeaway? What was the top aha moment that you had from yesterday's session? I would love to know in the comments what that is for you as well. That would be incredible if you want to share that with me. And today's session, I'm just going to take a drink of water because I got a bit of a tickle in my throat. Excuse me. There we go. Today's session is called Bringing Home the Money. So in today's session, we are going to look at the profitability. We are going to look at your owner's pay and your take home as well. So that is what we are going to be reviewing today. Of course, the 7 pillars of the profit plan are, excuse me, my throat is really tickling me today. So the 7 pillars of the profit plan are your vision, your money leaks, your revenue, owner's pay, team, profit, and implementation strategy. So today we are looking at the profit and owner's pay sections. Tomorrow we will look at implementation, how we actually put this into action. So far, of course, we have looked at that financial freedom, entrepreneurial freedom. What would that mean to you? We have looked at the vision planner, the think, see, do, and feels. We've looked at your ideal day as well. And we've looked at, okay, what are the things he do and feels now? And what is the bridge that we need to make in order to reach what we want to happen as well? We then looked at money leaks in the business, identifying what a money leak is. Money leaks, of course, is spending that is not 100% necessary to keep the lights on, nor does it deliver a positive return in terms of money or in terms of time. We found those money leaks in the business and we started the process of eradicating those. We also looked at the debt that you may have and looking at the debt snowball or debt avalanche methods in order to repay that debt. Remembering, of course, that money owed to HMRC, if it's overdue, it is also debt. Remembering that you may have bounce back loans to be factoring into the situation as well. Any money owed to anyone being debt, whether that's to yourself, whether that is to other members of your family or anything like that as well. After that, we looked at the power levers to drive revenue in session number 3. So looking at team and getting those team members to be revenue and producing and bottom line positive for you and examining if that was a situation. We then looked at your current programs, products and services, the price points and the quantity per month and what is therefore needed and the methods of selling and costs of selling. So we've covered a huge amount, of course, over the last few days. And we also then looked at putting all of that into our profit plan, mapping it out in spreadsheet form. So we have gone through a huge amount, and that is part of what it takes to build a profit plan in your business. So I want to share with you now a little bit about my journey and how I developed the profit plan method in the first place. So my business started around about 12 years ago, and I built up my practice, and just over 6 years ago now, it was actually 6 years gone in January, actually. So yeah, it was pretty much exactly 6 years ago. What happened to me was, and it will become obvious how I can pinpoint the date, because I was running my business and it was a 6-figure business. It was generating decent revenue, but I was taking home little to no money from my business at that point in time. And I was, I'm an avid reader of business books, and I had picked up Profit First, and at the same point in time, my son actually took a very strange turn. He basically stopped breathing, and he was 6 weeks old at the time. Called an ambulance, rushed to hospital, touch wood, and thankfully he fully recovered. But I was then in hospital with him for 3 days. Looking after him, trying to run my business. And I had just read this Profit First book as well at the same time. And I was thinking, what on earth am I doing? Because I was balancing running my business and being in hospital with a newborn at the same time. I was on my phone, etc., etc. All these things whilst, what I really wanted to do was just look after him in that moment. And the thing is, that at that point, I became incredibly resentful because I was putting in all this time and effort when, quite frankly, I felt like I should have been looking after him, and I wasn't actually personally getting paid for that. Yes, the business was making money, but my staff, my team were being paid way more than I was. I was still taking home little to no money from the business. And so I became highly, highly resentful of that situation. And it was basically a catalyst for change for me. Like I said, around about the same time, I had picked up the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. And that coupled with this experience of being in hospital is how the profit plan method was formed. Because I read that book and lots of pennies dropped for me. I thought, why have I not done this before? What on earth is happening with me? Why am I in this position? And the book spoke to me so much for that. For those of you that don't know, Profit First is essentially a cash management strategy. What Profit First does is pretty similar to perhaps what your granny used to do. Her husband used to come home every week with the money from his wages. She would take the cash and she would put some in the rent pot. She would put some in the utilities pot. She'd put some in the kids' clothing pot. She'd put some in the food pot, and she would split it out so that they had enough money to last the week and the month. Profit First does that for business, okay? It create separate pots in your business, some for profit, some for owner's pay, some for tax, some for operating expenses. But more importantly, what it does, other than the mechanics, is it switches your mindset around your take home and getting money out your business for you. Because what it does is it takes the traditional accounting formula, which is sales less expenses equals profit, where profit is the leftovers, and it switches it around, and it says sales less profit equals expenses, meaning that you have to allocate cash and money to profit and yourself ahead of paying everyone else. And that's that fundamental switch in your thinking and mindset that actually creates the momentum for getting Profit First implemented. Now, implementing Profit First and getting that working is part of the profit plan. It's ingrained in the work that we are doing this week. And I will speak about that today as well as part of all of it. So thank you everyone who is joining me. Helen, Peter, Mette, lovely to see you. Thank you for tuning in and joining me in today's session. I highly, highly appreciate that. So that is why the profit plan was born, because it was basically an amalgamation of me being completely fed up with where my business was and also reading Profit First at the same time. Once I got out of hospital with my little one, I basically took a step back in my business and I attacked it like a project. Basically, I said, okay, what do I need to do here? If this was someone else I was looking at, what would I be advising? What would I be getting in place? What systems do we need in order to change this around? One of them being Profit First, and the rest of the profit plan being the rest of it, is being exactly what I implemented from that day forward in my own business, which is why I am so passionate about helping and supporting people to do the same as well. So remember that where we are now in our business is no reflection of where we can reach. So today can be a line in the sand for you when it comes to your business's profitability and it comes to your take home as well. Okay. So in terms of how, Profit First works, in practical terms, you don't have those buckets that you actually physically put cash in. What you do is you have separate bank accounts in your business, and you have a separate bank account for profit, owner's pay, tax, operating expenses, and if you're VAT registered, VAT as well. Now, some business owners also like to have a bucket for team costs. I certainly have that. Some also like to have, if you are a business that has a high cost of sales, if you are reselling product, or if you're in a trade, you're probably going to want some kind of materials bucket as well, or product bucket as well, to split that out. But think about those buckets that are going to be useful for your business. Some business owners also have advertising and marketing buckets set up so that they have that set up. Now, there's two ways to set up the buckets depending on whether you bank with a traditional bank or one of the new challenger banks. The challenger banks, they often don't operate multiple bank accounts, but they have spaces or pot functions within their business bank accounts, and you can absolutely utilize those and set up your different accounts in inverted commas as spaces or buckets or pots. But with a traditional, if you're with a traditional high street bank, then what you're going to want to do is have an income bank account where all your money comes in to your business. Okay, this is like your granddad handing over the cash. That was the income account, your granny's hand. Okay, so that comes in there, and then you're going to want a separate account for profit, for tax, for owner's pay, and for operating expenses. Because from the income account, what you then do is you distribute out the cash that you have received to the other bank accounts based on set percentages every week. That is fundamentally how you do it. So in the same way that your granny took the money and distributed stuff out every week, that's exactly what we do under Profit First as well. So we know how much to do it because we work out set percentages, and how we work out those percentages is twofold. One, and primarily, is the profit plan. But secondly, there are also targets for us to try and get closer to try and reach. And those are set out in the Profit First book, what the target percentages would be. Also, within the Facebook group, within the unit section, I have target allocation percentages for different industries. So have a look in there as well, and you'll be able to see target percentages for different industries. Those target percentages that are laid out in the book are on page 35 of your workbook. And what it says, for those of you that don't have that right in front of you just now, is for businesses up to around about 250,000 revenue, you are wanting to set aside 5% of that revenue for profit, 50% for owner's pay, 15% for tax, and 30% for operating expenses. And what we do then on a weekly basis, as I say, is the money comes in to your income account, and then you distribute it out to the other accounts based on the set percentages that we are going to work out as part of this profit planning method, but also with a view of getting as close as we can possibly to those target percentages as well. Any questions? If any of this does not make sense, let me know in the comments. As part of the work that you do from today's session, I want you to think about the bank accounts or pots and spaces that you need to set up in your business so that this can work for you. And if anyone is listening that has not read the Profit First book, I highly recommend, as a supplemental learning to this, that you have a look at that. You can get a copy in PDF by going to annetteandco.co.uk/PF book. If one of my team can put that in the comments as well, that would be really, really useful, please, to do that. So the target allocation percentages, like I said, are in the workbook on page 35. Okay, so what we then need to do, I'm just going to take another drink of water because my throat is still acting quite croaky. So what we want to do is we want to get that infrastructure set up for getting Profit First put in place in our business. But we also today need to look at the owner's pay section of your profit plan. So like before, I have a screenshot of the spreadsheet on page 35 of the workbook. I also mentioned yesterday, for people who want a template for this, again, just connect with your concierge and they will give you a link to a Google Sheets, which you can then copy. Do make sure you copy it, and then you can use that as a template that has these formulas built in already. So if you do want that, make sure you connect with your concierge. If you do not know who your concierge is, just put in the comments, I don't know who my concierge is, and they will find you and they will connect with you and get you that link for the template for the profit plan if you wish to use a template. You don't have to, of course, but if you wish to use it, it's there for you to use. So what we do is we've got at the top section, of course, we had our revenue and our team, we had our expenditure, and then the next line I have in is a balance. So it's just revenue less the other costs, and then it comes down to the bottom. What we, of course, need to make sure we factor in is corporation tax. So we need to put a line in for that. Now, you just do a formula on this. Now, if me saying just do a formula, you go, yeah, just what? Remember that in the appendix to the workbook, there are explanations of how you do Excel formulas on this. So you can reference that as well. But what you want to do is you want to take 20% of that balance as your tax amount. And that will give you a good approximation of what your tax would be. I've then got a line for after tax. So that is just balance less tax. And then we've got our owner's pay. So this is your take home. This is what you are going to be taking home on a monthly basis from the business. Now, at this point, I want to be really clear that there is a difference between your take home for cash purposes and what you are going to be declaring in terms of salary versus dividend. I want you to still stay tax efficient, and your declarations will still be split between those as necessary in discussions with your accountant as to what is the most tax efficient for you. But when we're looking at this owner's pay, I want you to think of, okay, what cash am I physically taking out the business in its entirety per month? Okay, now these two numbers will add together to be the same, but I want you to think of these as separate things and not get confused and think, oh, well, my salary has to be this for tax purposes. Do not worry about the declarations and submissions that you require to do at this point in time. Think about the physical cash that you want in your personal bank account on a monthly basis, because that is the number that you're putting in this owner's pay line. Okay, that is the number that goes in here. Now, ideally, like we mentioned before, this should be half your revenue in an ideal world. But the numbers may not stack up yet, and you may have more work to do on that. And that is completely okay. And also, by the way, completely normal as well. But put in your owner's pay in this section, and then the number you have at the bottom is the profit. So it's the after tax less the owner's pay and the profit. And this number, of course, goes without saying, has to be positive. It cannot be zero and it cannot be negative. It has to be positive. So if you get to this stage in building your plan and it is not positive, something needs to happen. And usually it means you need to go back and review your money leaks exercise again, because you need to reduce your costs. If you are not running a profitable business, it is a massive, massive problem, as I'm sure you can understand. And therefore, you need to go back and look at money leaks, because you need to pay yourself well. That is a non-negotiable. You need to pay tax. That's a non-negotiable. So the only thing that can move is going to be the expenses and the team. So you need to review those and see if they are still in the right place. Okay. So what I then have further down on that page, on that sheet, on page 36, is I have percentages. And those percentages are referencing revenue. Okay, so it's what is the profit as a percentage of revenue? What is the owner's pay as a percentage of revenue? Again, if you are not sure about how to physically do this in your spreadsheet, make sure you check out the appendix of the workbook where it explains exactly how to do that. And then you do the tax as a percentage of revenue, and what it says OPEX, it means it means operating expenses. That is an accounting shortcut for that. So in your workbook, wherever it says OPEX, that is operating expenses. And you do that as a percentage of revenue, and then you will get your 100%. They will all add up to 100%. And that basically gives you your starting point for your profit first allocations. This is what you're going to use as your initial percentages that you're going to use to know how much you put in each bucket. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. I realize that there's quite a bit of information there, but once you start getting into this, I'm sure it will do. I mean, there's only actually kind of 3 or 4 lines to add, so it should be okay once you get into it. And yeah, if you have the template as well, these are already kind of half set up for you, so you can do that in the template as well, with the formulas already in there too, which might make it a little bit easier for you. So I'm going to take a drink of my water again. So I hope that makes sense. I know I have given you so much to think about over these last few days, and of course I will continue to do that for the rest of the Wealth Lab as well. But right now, I want to pause and extend an important invitation to you. I know that so many of you are now thinking, I am ready to work with Annette and her team. I am ready to unlock profits. I am ready to uncover the money hidden in my business without the struggle, the stress, and the strain over money. Well, you have the key in your hands, and now is the time to take action. So I'm inviting you now to close your eyes. Yes, seriously, close your eyes and imagine what your business and your life will look like 3, 6, and 12 months from now, with your profit plan completely dialed in, releasing lots more profit from your business, and doing so without the hustle and putting your life first, putting the years of struggle behind you. So I invite you to make one empowered decision today that makes all those things a reality for you. I want to let you know that the Business Wealth Academy is open for registration. This is my 12-month program where I help and support you to massively increase your profit, to get a significant financial upgrade. It is a system and support to build a financially sustainable business and a life with your vision and values at the core. You will learn how to run your business on dashboards and data rather than waiting and hoping. You'll learn via a combination of live coaching, one-to-one sessions, videos, Q&A sessions, PDFs, worksheets, and all those things. I would love to invite you into the Business Wealth Academy family. It is built on my years of experience of doing exactly this in business. And it is an absolutely no-fail program. We take you by the hand and we take you step by step through the exact process that is needed in order to be highly profitable. We aim for you to have as the first stepping stone a 20K profit increase in your business. That's after our costs, a 20K profit increase. This is a highly accountability driven program, and it makes sure that your business becomes significantly more profitable. So I invite you to step up as the CEO you are capable of when it comes to the finances in your business. I want to wrap my virtual arms around you and welcome you in and support you through this next 12 months to massively increase your profitability. In order to join us, you need to head to annetteandco.co.uk/BWA, standing for the Business Wealth Academy. So come check us out, sign up, come on in. I cannot wait to have you on the inside. Now, if you are not sure, if you want to have a call with me about it to check it's the right thing for you, you can absolutely do that. Just let your concierge know and we'll book you in a time to speak. So you're more than welcome to do that. Great question. I'm in the US. Can I still join? Yeah, absolutely. You can. This is not exclusively for UK clients. This is a worldwide program. Now, we do touch a bit on UK tax, but that is a tiny minute percentage of what we cover. Is probably less than 0.5% of what we cover is the UK tax setup. So absolutely, wherever you are in the world, this is absolutely appropriate for you. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. So head over to annetteandco.co.uk. Let's see. I think we've got some questions in here as well. Let's see. Why is tax 15% when VAT is 20%? Why is tax? Oh, that's corporate tax. That's corporation tax as a percentage of revenue. That's where the 15% comes in. If you are VAT registered, what you should do is fill in the profit plan with everything inclusive of VAT and add in an extra line in the bottom which has your VAT payments in it, because this is a cash model that we're building out. So we need to build in how the cash works. So if you are VAT registered, then you want to do the plan inclusive of VAT. And if you're VAT registered, you need to include a line in the profit plan, which is your VAT payments. Good question. Do you minus 20% even if you're not VAT registered? Not sure what bit that is. Whoever's asked that, I'm not even sure who's asked that. Jackie, do you minus 20% even if you're not VAT registered? Jackie, let me know what specifically what that's in relation to, because I'm not quite sure what you mean on that bit, because I'm not quite sure exactly when you asked it. So yeah, if you can put some more around that, then that would be helpful. Is the money coming in minus that 20% when there's money coming in minus 20% VAT, then what's left gets a dividend into the pots? Okay. I think, yes, that is exactly right. Yes, I see what your question is. So when you're moving it into the pots, you strip out the VAT and then the balance goes into the pots. Yes, that is what, I get it now. Thank you for that, Kaja. Yes, that is absolutely right. And that might actually be linked to Jackie's question. I'm not quite sure, but that might be linked to Jackie's question as well. Ila, it looks like I've not had all these questions come through here because I'm seeing some on my phone. Let's see. Where do you put money borrowed from the bank? Okay, so in terms of debt repayments, you have two options. So if you are repaying debt, you can either just put it in the expenses line, or if you've got if you want to kind of look at the debt as a separate amount, then you can make a separate heading for debt in the profit plan and list out your debt repayments there. Excuse me. If it's money that you're actually getting in as a loan, that is not technically income, but it is cash in the business. So you would put it in the profit plan because the profit plan is a cash basically, and you would work it that way. Where does an equipment loan go? Into operating expenses? Yeah, exactly. So if you've got a loan for equipment, that is exactly where it goes as well. And Illa's saying income account, operating expense, tax, profit, owners pay account, VAT account, and team bank account. Yeah, they're the ones that I have too, Illa. Absolutely. Please advise which banks are suitable for us here in the UK. Tide provide 4 accounts, but according you need at least 6. So some people do use Tide. Some people amalgamate some of the bank accounts in Tide to be able to work with how they work. Other people have other banks as well at other accounts. So they have their 4 at Tide, and then they have other bank accounts in other places. How we typically set it up is that your income account and your operating expenses account would be current accounts. Then all the rest could be set up as savings accounts, and you would just route money through the operating expenses account as you then need to pay it out, for example, to yourself or to the tax man. That is how we would do on there. Melissa's saying she's going to have a go. Awesome, Melissa. Let's see. It looks like there was a big delay in my comments, and I'm getting lots and lots of them through now. So let me have a look and make sure that I'm answering every question that we have. This is Justina saying this is one of her top takeaways is one service only till 100 to 250K. Absolutely. And an action plan on the strategy. Awesome. And another big takeaway was 4X on salary. Awesome. Great. I'm glad I'm getting to see these comments now, because I was wondering what why they weren't coming through, and now they're all just flying in. So there must have been some quirky tech thing happening there. But let me just make sure I've got everybody that has asked a question. On page 36, you took off 20% to get the tax. Okay. Do you still do this if not VAT registered? Yes, that's corporation tax / personal tax if you're a sole trader. So yes, you absolutely do that even if you're not VAT registered. Yeah, that tax line on page 36 is corporate or personal tax, depending on how you're taxed. So yes, you absolutely still need to do that because you would still have tax to pay. Where the loans fall into the percentage of operating expenses. It's where the loans fall when it comes to the percentages as well. Okay, good. I think I've caught caught up with the comments that now that they've come through. So like I said, I do want to invite you to join me inside the Business Wealth Academy. It is absolutely a great financial upgrade for your business. It takes what we have learned in the profit plan this week and it massively builds on that. We layer in financial controls, we layer in understanding the data in your business and what actions you need to take off what the data is telling you. And there is a ton of support from me and my team as well. You have weekly Q&A sessions, you have access to weekly 20-minute one-to-ones, and there is also a private Facebook group as well. So lots of ways you can connect with us, ask questions. We can go through your profit plans with you. We can go through your current business finances with you. We can look at calculations with you and bits of data, all of that stuff. You have access to me and my team to do that. So I would love to see some of you join me for the Business Wealth Academy. I know it's going to be an incredibly great decision that you make to join. The URL again is annetteandco.co.uk/BWA, and the link is in the comments. Some of my team have popped that in. So do make sure that you check that out and come in and join. I cannot wait to see you on the inside. Remember, we are back again tomorrow at 1:30 for implementation, how we actually put this plan into action. And I am looking forward to going through that with everyone. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow.